Well, good evening, everyone. Just got a cough there. Hello to Spada. Hello to Nadaverse. And if there's anyone else in the house, hello to you as well. So this is meant to be a short video. It is one I meant to do for quite a while. I want to say a big shout out to XYZ who put me onto this particular video that I'm going to share with you. I actually wanted to download it, edit it, and then put it up. This is from Rob Christian's channel because it's in the middle of a 2-hour long live stream. And it's a shame, really, because I want to get this material out in front of Muslims who may not be prepared to sit and watch a 2-hour live stream. So, but there's some great stuff right in the middle of that live stream. So I'm going to keep this video relatively short. I just see hello Grinch there. Hello to Bin Yosef. And yeah, so I'm going to keep this pretty short. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, if you were to think about the Lord's Prayer, the Our Father, how many sections are there to it? And I think if you were to go through it and you were to thematically divide it up, you'd probably come to a figure like 7. And I'm going to just share this with you first before we look at Rob Christian's video. Let's hopefully I can get the right one. This is a comparison between the Lord's Prayer and Surah Al-Fatihah. Now, the suggestion here is not that it's a copy of the Lord's Prayer, but just notice that the structure of it is the same. So it starts with addressing God in both cases. You can see there. There's adoration, submission, supplication, and then a conclusion at the end. So it not only has the same elements, but in the same order. So it's kind of obvious that this has come from a Christian tradition. But what's even better than this is the fact that there is a prayer in the Syriac Christian tradition. It is in a prayer book used in Syriac churches. This is mentioned by Rob Christian. Unfortunately, I've not been able to narrow down the name of the book. I presume it must be a missal, which is the book that's used in church service. Possibly it was found in Syriac lectionary, but not sure which. But in any case, let's go and have a look at Rob Christian's video. Now, I would just say that I've just lost where I am. Bear with me a second. I would say that, does that work actually? I hope that that's shared okay. I'm just I've realized I've gone from one type of web browser to another. Can you all just let me know that you saw that last bit? Just in case there was a mistake there. Because I noticed I was going from one browser to another. No, I don't seem to have. Maybe there's a delay. I'm hoping, anyway, the last bit I've shown you. Okay, now I'm going to move on to Rob Christian's video. Okay. Let me see. Okay. It's a bit slow here. Good. Thank you for the confirmation you saw it. That's grand. Yeah. No, let me just say. Seems to be a problem. It's a bit slow here. It's stalling. I wonder if I just delete a few things, maybe that might help. Okay. Right. For some strange reason, it's decided to be acting funny with me here. That hasn't happened in a while. Okay, let me see what I can do. So just bear with me. I see Grinch says, works for me. I'm slow too. Yeah. So I don't know what I can do here. It's I think it didn't like me rushing from one thing to another too quickly. So let me just see if there's a way I can stop that. It's kind of awkward. I'm dealing with a kind of a grey screen and it's not responding. What I might try is a good old fashioned refresh. See if that works. No, that's weird. Right, no look. It obviously didn't like me going from one thing to another too quickly. And this is a relatively new computer, so I'm very surprised by this. Okay, I'm just going to try. Okay, apologies. I'm just going to try and get the page up again. I've had to refresh it there, so just bear with me. It will probably be a couple of minutes, maybe a minute if I'm really quick. I'll just see if I can get it back again. Okay, I think I have it. Okay. Right, I'm in business. Okay, sorry about that. Screen froze, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it doesn't do it a second time. Okay, here we go. Okay, it's all good.
Fatihah is nothing but a Syriac church prayer. I happen to know Aramaic, so I can dissect Surah Al-Fatiha in its entirety, and I can show you word for word that the Muslims stole it word for word from us. We Christians from the Middle East who happen to speak Aramaic, Syriac Aramaic, we recite this prayer almost every Sunday in our church. And I hope you can take here in front of you guys, take a screenshot for the love of God. On the right, in the Arabic, you see Surah Al-Fatiha. On the right, you can see Surah Al-Fatiha, which contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ayahs, right? And in the last part, the Muslims repeat the curses on the Jews and the Christians, right? Right? The first people are the Christians. Al-Dhalin are the Christians, and the first people are the Yahud, the Jews. So when Muslims repeat Surah Al-Fatiha, they bring the curses down of Allah on the Jews and the Christians. Right? It says, الصراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين, meaning the curses on the Jews and the Christians. So when Muslims recite Surah Al-Fatiha, they recite the curses of Allah in their 5 daily prayers. Guys, again, this is Surah Al-Fatiha, chapter 1 of the Quran, right? And here on the left, you see the Syriac church prayer, right, guys? On the left, you see the Syriac church prayer. Now, most of you don't know Syriac, so I have to translate for you. I have to show you how Surah Al-Fatiha, word for word, is stolen from our Syriac church prayer. Word for word. Let me show you. Here in the bottom, I put for you, plagiarized from a well-known Syriac church prayer. So Surah Al-Fatiha, guys, is plagiarized from a well-known Syriac church prayer, an Aramaic Syriac church prayer. And guys, this church prayer existed 3 centuries at least before Muhammad was even born. Remember, the Syriac language is an Aramaic dialect, right, guys? It's basically an Aramaic language, but it's a dialect, a newer dialect. For example, the English that we speak now, right? The English that we speak now is not the same English that people spoke, let's say, 400 years ago, 500 years ago, right? I don't know how old the English language is, but it's a different dialect, a different kind of language, right? You have many words that people don't use anymore, for example. It's a different language, right? So the Syriac language is an Aramaic dialect that started basically, let's say, in the late 3rd century, in the beginning of the 4th century. That's 3 centuries before Muhammad was born. This Syriac church prayer here on the left, we already were reciting it before Muhammad was born, 3 centuries ahead of his time. And Muhammad, of course, is a joke, nothing but plagiarizing Syriac church prayers. And the proof I'm about to show you. Let us start with ayah number 1 of the Quran, chapter 1, Surah Al-Fatihah, ayah 1. Look, guys, the first couple of words in Surah Al-Fatihah is Aramaic. Watch. Here it says السريانية, the Syriac Al-Fatiha. Al-Fatiha Syrianiyah, the Syriac Al-Fatiha. I put it here in translation for you. Here is ayah number 1, but in the Aramaic or Syriac church prayer. It says here, B'Shem Allahu. Listen carefully, guys. B'Shem Allahu. Allahu means God. B'Shem Allah, in the name of God, Rahman Rahim. Do you hear it? B'Shem Allahu Rahman Rahim. The Arabic in the Quran, in the Fatiha says, Bismillah ar-Rahman Rahim. Do you hear it? B'Shem Allahu, Aramaic Syriac, B'Shem Allahu Rahman Rahim. Word for word. Word for word, plagiarized from the Syriac church prayer. This is the Syriac, here, guys, in the middle. You see the Syriac church prayer. B'Shem Allahu Rahman Rahim. And the meaning is, in the name of the beloved God, guys, in Aramaic, in Syriac, God is Allahu, meaning in Hebrew, Elohim, right? Elohim. Allahu means Elohim in Hebrew, but this is the Syriac Aramaic language. Word for word, copy paste. Do you see, when you copy paste from church prayers, you will cause a disaster for yourself? Do you see how when Muhammad had access to these books, and we showed you in the beginning, guys, that Muhammad had access to many church prayers, including this one, many Syriac books, because he was working for Khadija, he was a merchant, and he could plagiarize from all these books, right? Let us go back. So, again, the very first sentence of the Syriac church prayer already explains that Al-Fatiha is stolen. In the name of the beloved God, Allahu. B'Shem Allahu Rahman Rahim. B'Shem Allahu Rahman Rahim. Ayah number 2. Nothing but a Syriac church prayer, the same church prayer. Look. Hamdu li Allahu Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. That's what the Arabic in ayah 2 says. Hamdu li Allahu Rabbil Alameen. All praise to God, Lord of the universe. Copy, paste. I mean, when you're going to steal, at least change a couple of things, man, so it does not become obvious. At least change something. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise to God, Allahu, in the Aramaic, Allahu. Now, people like Sam Shamhun, who speak the Western dialect of the Aramaic, they will say Allah, Allahu, Allah. So you see, guys, there are some differences in the vowels between different dialects. When you speak the dialect of Brother Sam Shamhun, he will say Allah. We, Syriani, right? Syriac speakers, we will say Allahu. It's not Allah, by the way, guys. It's not the same God, remember? When we say Allahu, it's the Elohim of the Holy Bible, all right? Guys, do you see how important it is to know Aramaic, to decipher the Al-Fatiha, and to show you that it's nothing but copy-paste, word for word. Again, Hamdulillah Allahu Rabbil Alameen. The Arabic Al-Fatiha of the Quran says, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Copy-paste. Ayah number 3, also copy-paste. Rahman Rahim. Rahman Rahim. Rahman Rahim. The merciful, the beloved. Copy-paste. Ar-Rahman al-Mahbub, meaning Rahman Rahim means the beloved merciful, or the merciful, the beloved. Copy-paste. Ayah number 4. Malik Yom Dino. Malik Yom Dino. Malik Yom Dino. Malik Yom Din in the Arabic Quran. Malik Yom Din. And the meaning of, if we translate it to the Arabic, it means the king of the judgment day of the last hour, right? The king of the last hour. Yom al-Hisab. Master of judgment day. The owner of the judgment day. Malik Yom Dino. Copy, paste. Stolen, plagiarized. Wow! Please use this, guys, in your debates. Guys, we are already 4 ayahs ahead, and we see nothing but copy-paste plagiarization by Muhammad and his thieves. Bunch of thieves stealing our Syriac church prayer. You see here, this is the Syriac, right, guys? Malik Yom Dino. Malik Yom Din in the Fatihah of the Muslims. Church prayer is nothing but a church prayer, man. You bunch of thieves. Bunch of thieves. You see how the Muslims are nothing but bunch of thieves? How Muhammad and his thugs are nothing but bunch of thieves. They were not only caravan robbers, but they also stole our Syriac church prayers. Copy paste, word for word. Ayah number 5. From the Syriac church prayer. Echo at Na'bid, meaning we worship you wherever you are. Here it's a little bit different, because if we go to ayah 5, the meaning is a little bit, because Muhammad tried, right, to not be busted, but here it says Echo at Na'bid. We worship you wherever you are. And the final part of the ayah makes it even more clear. O Echo at Etnaim. And wherever you are, we ask for your help. These are the Christians who are reciting this, right, guys? These are Christians like you and me. Until today, we recite this Syriac, Aramaic church prayer in our churches. Ayah number 6. Ihdulan srotu idmhim. Show us the straight way. Ihdulan lisrotu idmhim. Show us the straight way. Show us the straight way. Where do we find this in the Quran? In the same ayah. Show us the straight path. Show us the straight way. You see, copy paste again. And in the final ayah, Muhammad added the last part about the Jews and the Christians, which is of course not. We Christians won't curse ourselves or ask our God to curse us, or the Jews. Muhammad took it. He and his scribes took it, stole it, but they added the last part to it. Look, the way of those on whom you bestowed your grace, Slotted in هون دين موت عليهون. You see it? طريق الذين أنعمت عليهم. It's the first part is the same, but Muhammad added the cursing part about the Jews and the Christians. الذين أنعمت عليهم غير الذين and so on, right? That you are bestowed your anger upon them and the ones who are astray. Those are the Jews and the Christians. So you see, word for word, stolen by Muhammad and his scribes. Yeah, Muhammad added the cursing in the last part of ayah 7. So if we put it again on the screen here, this is the Syriac Aramaic prayer, and I put here the transliteration for the Muslims who are interested to know how Muhammad and his scribes, his thieves, stole this Aramaic language. And for the people who joined much too late, remember, Muhammad had access to books that were used to be in the Syriac language. Muhammad was a merchant working for Khadija, and he received many such books, and he used to ask Zayd ibn Thabit. We talked about it. Let me talk about it again for the people that joined. Muhammad commanded Zayd ibn Thabit, the same guy who collected the Quran, Muhammad asked him, do you know Syriac well? Do you know the Syriac language well? Why? Muhammad continues saying, I am receiving many books in the Syriac language. So Zayd, his response is, no, I don't know Syriac. Then Muhammad said, learn it. So he commanded Zayd ibn Thabit to learn the Syriac language. And we know now why. The puzzle pieces are starting to fit their right places, because he needed Zayd ibn Thabit to steal and plagiarize and make it Quran.
What do you make of that? Now, obviously, I don't accept the sin version of the explanation for how there's Syriac in the Quran. That was a lovely cover story, but it's interesting. The hole in that sin story is the fact that if Muhammad could command Zayd to learn Syriac in 17 days, how come he didn't bother to learn himself to read and write over the course of 23 years? So it's a bit of a problem there. So hello to everyone. Light for All Nations, A. Anderson, Logic, and Dragon Denarius and Carol B. I'd like to just share Carol B's point here. The information coming out about Syriac Aramaic origins is really a major tool for seeing the true origins of the Quran. This is groundbreaking stuff. Yeah, it's I'm officially calling this year the year of the Aramaic hole. I know there are other holes that will be coming out this year, but I think this is the big one that I'd like to focus on. And I think this is maybe the first kind of venture into the Syriac this year. I've done other videos prior to this. I suppose the thing is there's different groups working on the on busting Islam. In the sin sifter group, we might call ourselves, as Jay has suggested, we're basically throwing out the whole story of Muhammad and all of that stuff. We don't accept that story. There's too many flaws in it. It's too obvious that it's a fabricated story. But there are others who accept the story, but they're still seeing the fact that there's holes in that narrative and are finding all of these older sources. Now, their explanation, like Rob Christian's, is to say, well, Muhammad borrowed it, but I would say it goes deeper than that it's not Muhammad at all. You have an early community of people from which all of this came from, and we can call them by different names. I kind of like Thomas Alexander's description of this group, which is simply anti-Trinitarian, so very closely connected with Christians, except they're heretical Christians, and there are Jewish elements in there, and there's a big question about which is the most dominant part of the group. That's an open debate, but certainly we're seeing lots of Christian lectionary elements there, and we're seeing now Christian prayer. I think this is exciting stuff. So if you stay tuned. I'm going to close this live stream off now, and I'm going to be coming back in about 5, maybe 10 minutes, and I'm going to be looking at the Bismillah, and it has a Syriac connection as well. Okay, so stay tuned, about 10 minutes time. See you back there. Bye-bye.